I can't even build a paper towel holder. Why are you guys watching me?
You guys are not going to believe how bad I messed this up. This video is probably going to make me lose subscribers. This was supposed to be just an easy, fun video. I spent days searching the internet. I watched tons of videos on the best tool holders for your French cleat wall, and I picked 10 of the best that I wanted to make for you guys. But right from the start, I started making one stupid mistake after another. When I finally figured out why I was making so many mistakes, the damage was already done. Oh. If you guys want to see this circus act of a woodworking video, then buckle up for a bumpy ride. But don't say I didn't warn you at the end. Now let's get to building.
I haven't built one tool holder since I made this French cleat wall 7 months ago, but I really junked up this shelf, the one shelf I had.
And my cabinets look like my grandmom's Tupperware cabinet back in the 90s. So I did a bunch of research. That just means I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. And in today's video, I'm going to build my favorite 10 cleat wall tool holders. I got Spider-Man on the sign today because French cleats hang on the wall, and so does Spider-Man. I'm sorry, that was lame. The first one I'm going to build is something to hold all these bench cookies. I use these a lot, and they're always buried in my cabinets. Instead of using a regular cleat like I normally would, I'm going to try to make my own cleat out of a piece of scrap wood.
The problem with just using a cleat like this, you can't just attach your board to it because it'll just fall off. So you need to have a second board like this. One that can hold it from leaning forward. Or even something like this simple shelf, it needs an inside board to keep it from tilting forward. So this is some scrap wood left over from the last video I did, that hat holder. I'm gonna use this to make a cleat out of. So I'm using this piece I cut off the cleat wall just to figure out where my hook's gotta be at.
Then I just use my speed square and I mark out the rest of the cleat. Then I cut out the shape on my bandsaw. Now, if you don't have a bandsaw, you can use a jigsaw. It would do the same exact thing. Heck, if you're determined enough, you can use a handsaw or a coping saw.
All right, so I got my 2 cleats done, but look at this. Here's my shelf, right? Now watch this. When I put all these on there, it hits the wall and hangs over. So that would not work. So I need to pull it out from the wall, which is gonna create a gap behind it. I should have just put a second piece of wood. You ever cut a piece of wood and it smells like cheese? That's this piece. My garage smells like cheese now. What is that? Anybody know? Why does it do that sometimes?
So I just ended up putting a 1x2 on the back. But couldn't that have just been a 1x2 cleat? Did I make these brackets for nothing? I think there's a good use for them, but I'm just not doing it right.
One thing about these pin nailers is I shot the nail in here and it came out right here. I mean, I could have been holding it right there. That's not where you would think it would come out, but it twisted around. Sorry about my crackhead fingernail. All right, so it looks pretty good, but I don't like how this dead space under here. I don't think I did this right. I should have did it the other way around. I should have had the shelf under here. What do you guys think? I think I'm gonna redo this one. So instead of scrapping the whole thing and starting over, I just added a bottom shelf for my other benchtop cookies. Speaking of these bench cookies, when I showed these in my last video, I got a lot of comments from people saying, all you need is some drawer liner or carpet padding, slice it up, wrap it around a 2x4, and you can make your own bench cookies for free. If you have this lying around, make them for free.
I tried it. It didn't seem to work as good as the other cookies, but could be the type of liner I was using. And also they said you can just set the liner right on your workbench and use it like that.
I just want to throw that out there and let everybody know. I want to hang all my glue on my cleat wall, so I'm laying it out like this to figure out the dimensions of the holder I'm going to need. I want to make sure I have a spot for my brushes, and then also all these little pieces that come with the CA glue when you buy it, all the little nozzles and stuff. I want a little spot for that too if I can. The heck's going on with Spider-Man? Did I spill something on him? I got some black paint on Spider-Man. Oh well.
I want to make the glue holder out of this odd shaped scrap plywood that I have. Then I was cutting thin strips off of a 2x4 because I wanted to use them to make a drawer, and I did this. Can you notice what I'm doing right now?
I ended up cutting into one of the feet on these things.
Once I got all my pieces cut, I started putting this thing together, and I actually spent a lot of time on it. I made a place for my brushes to go. I made a little drawer to keep all the small parts in. And at the end of the day, I wished I would have went with a better quality plywood than I used.
This wood is bottom of the barrel wood. This is the worst wood I ever seen.
The way I made the drawer face, it stopped on the left side, but not on the right side. I don't know if I'm gonna explain that right. So I had to put these slices of a dowel on the right side so that when the drawer was pushed in, it would close straight. Other than the wood grain, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Let me know in the comments if you guys would have done anything differently. My wife thinks it's hot when I make stuff out of wood, so I sent her this video hoping it would be like an aphrodisiac, but it actually did the opposite.
Wah, wah, wah.
The drawer face fell off when I was trying to use my woodworking skills for sexiness. Ba-dur! And that's Badur number 3 for anybody keeping track. Project 2, Badur number 3. Since I had it off the wall, I decided to clean it up a little bit on the turd polisher.
Now when my wife puts me on a diet, I got a place to hide my snacks.
The next tool holder I wanted to build was for my circular saw. I did a live video last week, and my friend Lisa was in the chat, and she told me about these mechanical pencils for carpenters that she got from Amazon. It's pretty cool. It came with this kit and has a bunch of different colored leads, a bunch of different pencils, a couple markers.
These mechanical carpenter pencils are cool because they come with this little sharpener. Look how tiny that thing is. And you can sharpen the leads when they start to get dull.
So thanks, Lisa, for letting me know about these. And if you guys want to pick them up, I'll put a link in the description. And when you guys use my links in the description, I get a little pocket change from it. Like, seriously, just a little bit of pocket change. But it helps my channel. Any little bit helps. You guys are probably wondering, why isn't this idiot giving us any dimensions? Well, it's because these holders that I'm building are kind of customized to my tools. I don't know what kind of saw you have. You may have a different saw where the blade's on the right side. If you have different tools, they may not fit any of these tool holders that I'm making. These are just basically so you can get an idea and then customize it to your own tools.
I just pulled a major Jasco on this thing. When I cut the holes and measured the holes, I had the saw blade all the way up. So it didn't look like it was that, I needed that much. Now if I have my blade all the way out like that and I try to put it in, it doesn't fit in the hole.
Hey Mom, it's me. No, I just had a few questions about when I was a kid. When I was little, did we live by any high power lines? What about lead paint? Did we have a lot of lead paint in the house? Did you ever see me eating it? Like eating lead paint chips? You know I love chips. Rather than scrap the whole thing, I had to re-drill new holes, recut them out with my jigsaw, and then reroute it to make it look pretty again.
It's not as pretty as it was before, but it'll get the job done. That's what I tell my wife anyways.
Well, only 3 tool holders and 4 Badurs. I'm not doing too good. Quabam! The next tool I want to build a holder for is my Ryobi Airstrike.
The man's it.
I see a lot of people making holders that you store them this way, but I feel like that takes up a lot of space, so I'm going to try to turn mine this way. So basically, this is a 1x5 for the bottom, a 1x5 for the back with a U cut into it, then 2 45s cut out of a 1x10, and I just sanded them up and made them look a little bit nicer. And those are going to go on the side, and then your screw gun's going to go right in here. If you notice, the screw gun keeps tipping forward. So the way I fixed that was I made this little wood piece right here that's going to get glued to the front board. Then I just put it all together with some glue and drywall screws, threw a cleat on the back, and it was ready to go. And I just want to point out that this is the first tool holder I've built in this video where I didn't have a Badur moment. So now I'm 4 for 4. Getting a little better.
Well, bam! What do you guys think? Spider-Man, what the heck is going on with you? Would you change your clothes or something?
Okay, the next tool holder I'm going to build is going to be for my jigsaw. And it's going to be the same concept as the nail gun. Instead of it going sideways on the wall, it's going to stick out from the wall, like my belly after Thanksgiving dinner. Badur! Okay, that's not really a Badur, because that could have happened to anybody using a Ryobi. This is a Badur. You could probably already notice what I'm doing wrong. Matter of fact, I just noticed it myself. That's why I stopped.
I swear I don't drink in woodwork. Look at this. That looks good, right? I'm putting the screw right in the center. There's a channel in the center. I give up.
Did you ever drink a little when you were pregnant with me? What about drugs? Did you ever try crack? Experiment with it? Most of these tool holders are the same thing. It's 2 pieces of wood in the shape of an L with 2 45s on the side. Then I just custom it to the shape and size of the tool, maybe put a channel in a different spot. But this jigsaw holder is going to be a little different because I'm putting a little something extra special on the side of it.
And I got a place to store my blades. When I did my original video with the French cleat wall, I made this holder right here. And these are really handy for hanging stuff like your levels, anything with a hole in it that's made to be hung on a hook or something. As long as it'll fit through a 3/8 rod. If not, you can use a skinnier metal hook or something like that. But I feel like I improved on it because I made these smaller ones. And it's not that it's that much smaller, but this one had more sticking up above the cleat, and this one has, you can get more sticking below the cleat, which is where it really matters.
I won't bore you with another L-shaped tool holder, but I built this one to hold my router.
Well, bam, another tool gets a home. What the heck, Spider-Man? What are you, roided out or what, boy?
So I decided to give these cutout cleats another try. I'm making something to hold all my tape, and I think that these will work a lot better for this application. See how I'm using those big technical words? This is a great application for the tape dispensary of the product. While I'm cutting this out, I wanted to ask you guys a favor. If you like this video, can you give me a thumbs up? Maybe even leave a comment. Ask me how I'm doing. Have I lost any weight? Probably not, but you can ask anyways. And most importantly, if you really like the content I'm making, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. Just think, you could be sitting at home thinking, I'm a crappy woodworker. Go watch a Jigsaw video, you'll feel right as rain. Now, I softened up all the edges of the cleat bracket, whatever you want to call this thing, on my Turd Polisher 2000. Then I glued and pin nailed these two square dowels to the cleat bracket. But most of my video is a close-up of my dandruff. Don't ask me how a bald guy has dandruff, but I can tell you this, God has a sense of humor. Then I forgot to turn the camera off, so I got a ton of footage of me wearing Nike socks with Under Armour shoes. How to say you're over 50 and you don't give a crap without saying you're over 50 and you don't give a crap.
Simple but effective.
I have a confession to make. This thing fell apart later off camera and I had to reassemble it with screws. Ba-der!
Were you and my dad related at all? No, but like maybe second cousins or something? What size was the bus I drove to school? I don't need exact dimensions. Was it longer or shorter?
On the bright side, I changed this from a tape holder to a chip holder. And I think that's much more appropriate for my shop.
I wanted to build a holder for my rubber gloves, but they come in so many different sized boxes. I buy whatever's on sale that I don't know what size to build. If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comments, or if you guys have seen one that covers multiple sized boxes, let me know.
So the next holder I'm doing is super easy. I just need a place to put my nail sets and my center punch.
I'm always torn on whether to take the tools out of the cases they come in, the nice cases where they fit perfectly, just to put them in a piece of wood crap that I made. But in this case, every time I need to use one of these, I gotta go in the drawer, unzip it, take one out, put it back in there, put it back in the drawer. I'd rather just have it here right in front of me because I use these quite often. Look, it's a musical instrument, guys. Jigsaw goods. All right, sorry.
This guy's crazy, right? What's wrong with that guy?
Okay, guys, I've built 8 holders, and I've only got 6 baders, so I've pulled ahead. Wish me luck, because this next one's a hard one. To minimize mistakes on this next holder, I built a prototype so I could figure out all the angles and measurements first. And if you're wondering what it is, it's called a gravity or a floating saw holder. And there are a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to build one.
So here it is. And it works. They're in there pretty tight. This side isn't as tight because I messed up on the wedge inside there. Got 2 of them in there. Oh.
Okay, that was embarrassing, but it doesn't count as a badur because it was a prototype. So basically, I just cut some wedges out of a 2x4 at an 18-degree angle, and then I spaced them out about 1/8 of an inch apart. So I made a spacer, put the spacer on there, put your next block on. I have to check it because I'll glue it the wrong side every time. So I have to check it and make sure I'm going the right way first. Push it down, flip it over, put a couple nails in it. Push my spacer back out and just keep going all the way down. And then your final board is just going to be a regular rectangle. Now, I didn't cut my bottom board to the final dimension because I wanted to see where I ended up once I put all the pieces on. And then I cut it to the final dimension on my miter saw and put the last piece in place. Then I set up a stop block on my miter sled and I cut all my dowels to size. Then I took some almost 1/4 inch plywood and I cut it into some rectangles and I used that to keep the dowels from falling out of the holders. I'm going to try to square the top all up on the table saw. See how the back 1x4 is taller than the 2x4s I used? See if I can square it all up. Now, I don't know if I should count this as a boudoir because it is kind of poor planning on my part. There's really no good way to attach the top plywood when it's all different levels up there. You know what I'm saying? So you guys let me know in the comments. Was this a boudoir?
And when I put the tops on, they're going to be just right.
So now I get to take this old funky one down that I did not like, put up the new one.
Then I made these keys that lock it in place so it doesn't fall off. Well, bam! What do you guys think? Looks a lot better than the old one, dude. If you guys build one of these, I would recommend using at least 3/4 inch dowels. I used 5/8, and they work. You see how strong that holds in there? But the dowels get twisted very easily. They turn very easily, where a thicker dowel wouldn't do that. And see how they kind of stay up there. So you'd be better off using a 3/4 inch dowel at least, if not a 1 inch. Trying to repurpose the old saw holder, and I cut it off with my table saw, and I didn't realize there was screws in it. Can you see that? So I'm trying to mess up $50 blades to save $2 in wood. Did Dad work with heavy pesticides? What about the devil's lettuce? Did you dabble in that a lot? Okay, so the next holder I want to make is something to hold my paper towels. And it almost seems like a waste of space to put a paper towel holder on a tool wall, so I'm going to put a shelf on top of it, so at least it's multi-purposed. For the end boards, I made these little tracks, so when you put the paper towels on the pole just slid in the track and the gravity held it in. I want to drill a 3/4 inch hole in the middle of this round piece of wood, but because there's already a hole there, it just keeps spinning all over the place. So I took a scrap board that I had, and I drilled a 3/4 inch hole into that. And then I clamped that board on top of the circle that I wanted to drill the 3/4 inch hole into. It's a little off center, but it's good for what I'm going to use it for.
Now, if any of you were impressed with this, hold my beer, because I'm about to unimpress you.
You want to see what happens from a lifetime of over-exaggerating size? This hole's too big. I drilled it 3/4, it should have been 5/8. I drilled it 3/4 because I was thinking it was the same as this one, but I meant for this one to be oversized. This one was supposed to be dead on. I'm gonna have to try to do the other side now.
Did I ever fall out of my crib like head first onto the ground or anything? Did you drop me a lot? Now this doesn't really count as a boudoir, but when I was attaching the cleat to the sideboard, look what happened. Not a huge deal, I just put some wood glue into the crack, added some CA glue, clamped it, and then sprayed it with activator. Then I re-drilled all my pilot holes with a thicker and longer bit to make sure it didn't happen again. And I'd show you some of the rest of the build, but the videos turned out to be most of my forearm, side belly, and side boob, so that's gone right into my members area. Then I stupidly glued and screwed the ends on my paper towel dowel.
All right, now let's make sure I didn't cut it too small or something weird like that, like I normally do. Ta-da!
And it's the perfect weight for working out. Let's get physical, physical. I wanna get physical. I'm sorry. All right, let's try it out. Why didn't anybody say, how you gonna get that through the paper towel when you saw me gluing both sides on? Ba-der! What about my sister Lisa? She was always mean to me. Did she put me in a lot of sleeper holds and like deprive my brain of oxygen? Okay, what about my delivery? Was it a normal delivery or did I like fall out when you were bowling or something? Come on, Mom, give me something here. Luckily, the glue hadn't dried yet and I was able to fix this. And now, like I intended, when I need to change out the paper towel, all I gotta do is unscrew it. Watch this paper towel roll not fit. I'll make every new video in a clown suit if this doesn't fit in here. Woo! I thought I was gonna have to make every video in a clown suit. You see it get kind of tight for a second? Look at that. Ta-da!
Well, bam, it worked. These sell really good as a combo like this on Etsy for some reason. I don't know what it is. The last holder I want to make is for these angle clamps that I bought. They come in this box, but once you put all these together, they don't fit back in. And I'm not going to take them apart and put them back together every time I want to use them because they have little washers and I don't want to lose the washers. So I'm going to make a holder for these. I'm not sure if you guys are aware yet, but YouTube gave some of us creators a community page.
The only thing is you can only access it through the YouTube app. You can't get there from the desktop or from your TV. But if you go to the Jasco Goods main page, you can click the Visit Community button, and it'll bring you right into the community. And what's awesome about the community page is you guys can share pictures with me and the whole Jasco Goods subscriber community. I like seeing what other people are building, and I really like seeing people's versions of the stuff that I build. So if you watch one of my videos and you build something I build in there, you can share it with everybody. So for this clamp holder, you're going to be pulling up on these to get them out. And I don't want it to pull this off of the thing. So I made this little wood strip, and you just slide it behind here. Like so. And then you add a couple screws and your holder is locked in. Now for these, I want to do some really cool holders that we're going to hold them in place, or maybe have some pegs sticking out. But I thought, you know what? Keep it simple, stupid. And now they just sit on the shelf behind them. All right, there you guys go. I know I said 10, but I actually did 11 different tool holders. And then I threw in a couple little bonus ones, like these little rod looking things. I know they're not much. And then a shelf. But I threw in some bonus ones for you guys. So let me know what you guys think. Is there any that I missed? Any that you'd like to see me build? Do you guys like these shop builds? Am I doing this for no reason? Let me know in the comments, guys. I really appreciate all your guys' comments. It may take me a while to get to them. Like I just answered one the other day that was like 4 months ago, but I will get to them. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see me build. Leave it in the comments or come on my community page. Until next time, get to building.